On the night when the RMS Titanic continued its journey across the vast Atlantic Ocean, the sky above it stretched endlessly, filled with countless stars that seemed brighter and clearer than anything many passengers had ever seen before, creating a scene so calm, please subscribe, so peaceful and so breathtaking that it almost felt unreal, as if the world itself had paused for a moment to display its quiet beauty. There was no storm, no heavy wind, no sign of danger in the sky. Only a deep stillness that settled over the ship and the ocean around it. For those standing on the deck, looking upward into that vast night sky, the experience was something truly unforgettable. The absence of clouds allowed the stars to shine with remarkable clarity, forming patterns that stretched from one horizon to the other. Without the interference of city lights, the sky appeared more alive, more detailed, and more powerful, giving passengers a sense of connection to something much greater than themselves. The ocean below reflected this stillness. The water was unusually calm, almost flat, with very little movement, creating an effect that made the boundary between sea and sky seem almost invisible. It was as if the ship was floating through a space where the two merged into one, a quiet, endless expanse of darkness and light combined. This calmness, while beautiful, also carried with it a hidden consequence that few could have understood at the time. One of the most significant details about that night was the absence of the moon. Without moonlight, the ocean remained dark, and objects on the water were much harder to detect. While the stars provided light, it was not enough to illuminate the surface of the sea in a way that would reveal everything clearly. This created a situation where the night felt bright above but dark below, a contrast that would later prove to be critical. Passengers who remained awake during these hours experienced the night in different ways. Some walked along the decks, enjoying the quiet and the cool air, taking in the beauty of the stars and the peacefulness of the ocean. Others gathered in small groups, talking softly, sharing thoughts, or simply enjoying the moment. There was no sense of urgency, no fear, only a calm acceptance of the journey as it continued forward. Inside the ship, life went on as usual. The warmth and comfort of the interior spaces provided a contrast to the cold stillness outside. People continued their routines, unaware that the conditions outside were creating a situation that was far more complex than it appeared. The calmness of the night gave a sense of security, reinforcing the belief that everything was under control. For the crew, the night presented both clarity and challenge. The clear sky allowed for excellent visibility in terms of distance, but the calm sea removed an important visual cue that sailors often relied on. Normally, waves breaking against objects would create visible patterns, making it easier to identify obstacles in the water. On T's night, the lack of waves meant that such cues were absent, making it harder to detect what lay ahead. This combination of a clear sky, calm sea, and absence of moonlight created a unique set of conditions that would play a role in the events that followed. It was not a storm that caused concern, nor was it rough weather that raised alarms. Instead, it was the quiet, peaceful nature of the night itself that made it different. A difference that was not immediately obvious. Looking back, it is easy to see how this calmness could be misunderstood. To the passengers, it was a beautiful night, one that added to the experience of the journey. To those responsible for navigating the ship, it was a night that required careful attention, even if it did not appear dangerous at first glance. The night sky, with all its beauty, became part of the Titanic's story in a way that few could have imagined. It was not just a backdrop to the events that unfolded. It was a factor that influenced how those events took place. The clarity of the stars and the stillness of the sea created an environment that was both stunning and deceptive. More than a century later, this night continues to be remembered, not only for what happened, but for how it looked and felt in those final hours. It reminds us that appearances can be misleading, that even the most peaceful moments can carry hidden risks, and that nature, in its quietest form, can still have a powerful impact. In the end, the night sky that passengers saw on the Titanic was more than just a beautiful sight. It was a silent part of the story, a presence that added depth and complexity to an already unforgettable event. It stands as a reminder that sometimes the calmest moments are the ones that hold the greatest significance, shaping history in ways that are only understood much later.